Okay, so this is going to be part two of what you were working on yesterday with the address corrections. So I like what you did with the notes, where you're making notes if there was a name change on this side, and then also notating in red when there was a bank address and you couldn't find any other address. So just to follow up on that, when there is a bank address, I want you to, like this person, this Christina Alves here, you can see when you click on her name, this parcel, which is the main parcel, you click on this, it shows CoreLogic. So obviously we don't want that. But when you go back here, she has multiple things in her name, and you can tell it's the same person. If you click on these, you can see there's an actual address. So when you find one that says CoreLogic or whatever, a bank, see if there are any parcels in that person's name, and try to see if we can notice some consistency. Like if there's, like this person has 3, this person has 3. Try to nail down a consistent address for the mailing address, because that's going to be the most accurate one. Now, I can do it one of two ways. I can leave these duplicates in here, and you can see, when someone has multiple parcels, when you're going to want to be, clicking on their name and seeing if they have other properties like this. Or I can just, select, remove duplicates, only want to remove them from column A and B, which is the first and last name. So when we do that, it says 86 duplicates removed. That's one way to do it. You can do it either one way or the other. So if you do it this way, you're just going to have to check every one and make sure that there's some, like if they have multiple properties, then there's, consistency in the mailing address. But I like what you did with the notation. So I'm going to go, instead of putting them in this column, I'm going to go have you just replace them, so I don't have to do it. I just wanted to do that the first time around just to see, what the differences actually were. But leave these all in here. I need this information, this transfer year amount and stuff like that. But just when you find an address, a mailing address that needs corrected, just input it here in different colored writing like this, or a different font, or something that differentiates it from the others that have not been changed. And then you can continue to note when you do an address search and there's a name change, like you were doing in the notes over here on the last one. That was good. Another thing to be aware of, there was a couple like Union Savings Bank, Mr. Cooper. There's a couple more that you had notated in here that were also banks, but just be aware that anything that looks like a bank, just don't pay attention to that. Don't put that address in there. I think there's one in Des Moines, Iowa. There's a lot. I forget which bank that is, but there's, whenever you see a Des Moines, Iowa address, just look at that and make sure it's not a bank. But yeah, that's it. So if you have any other questions, it's pretty much the same thing, but we're just putting the address directly in here. And then for duplicates, we're making sure that you're looking at multiple entries of the same name to establish a consistent mailing address, because sometimes they're different. So when you see a duplicate, just check that, double check that.